Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Welcome to our crochet podcast, episode 29. Welcome back to all of our returning viewers. Hi, how are you? I hope you had a really great week. And a special hello to our new viewers who are just popping by for the first time, checking out the channel. So welcome to our little corner of the world. I should explain, my name is Krista. I am Canadian. I am married, have 4 kids, 5 dogs, tortoises, birds, bunch of pets, and I live in Nairobi, Kenya, in Africa. So the first part of these podcasts are about crochet and crochet related items, and then we digress and I share a little bit about living in Kenya and in Nairobi. So if that is of interest to you, think about hitting the subscribe button below. We'd appreciate you joining us. You can also hit the notification bell beside the subscribe button, which will give you a notification when we do our live events and upload any of our videos. We do live chats on Fridays. We do crochet alongs and crochet tutorials, lots of easy beginner crochet projects, nothing complicated and nothing too time consuming, because obviously I'm a busy woman and I don't like spending a lot of time doing something that's really hard, basically. Question of the day: how many whips are you comfortable with, or what is your quota for whips? Do you just work on one thing at a time, or do you work on a bunch of different things? That's the question of the day. So you can leave that in the comments box below, which I usually talk about later. I'm a bit out of order already. So let us start on our crochet bits. My kids are home today, by the way. We had mad rains. Sorry if you can hear them. Mad rains last night. It's fine now. 6:30 in the morning, birds started chirping and it was fine, but driveways flooded. Not the house, but like there's like a kind of, not a ditch, but a whoop in the driveway, and the whoop is full of water. I went out driving this morning and took you with me, so that's at the end of the video. So that's why you'll be hearing my kids, which you normally do not hear them on podcast days. Right now anyway. They should be in school. Yes, they should. So starting with finished objects. No finished objects. Literally no finished objects. So that was quick, right? Okay, done with that. I'm just going to feel great about it. I'm not even going to really worry. Other people don't have finished objects, I'm sure. Whips. I know we're waiting for this, so I worked on this week. So this is my corner to corner, right now obviously going to be a rectangle, but it's going to be my winter jacket. I'm making it into a cardigan, and I've gotten to the part, oops, oh good, stitch marker. I've gotten to the part where I can start decreasing on this side as well. So I have gone from one wrist over there to about one wrist over there. I don't know if you can see. I'll put the measure, I measured it and then I didn't remember it to tell you right now, but I'll put it at the top, how wide I made it and then how long I made it. So I'm just waiting, of course finished in the middle of the night, waiting to film the double decrease, so it'll be a separate tutorial on how to do this. And I just have to film this part before I keep going on it. So couldn't do that because if I film at night, the lighting is different on the tutorial. Like it looks kind of more yellow opposed to in daylight when it's just kind of plain. And I didn't want to chunk in the tutorial being like, how come her lights aren't on, or how come it looks weird? So that's my excuse for not filming it in the middle of the night, which I think is valid. So that's a bit on pause until like today or another day when I can work on it. And so that's a whip, current whip. And it is getting so cold here because it has rained. Well, we just haven't had this nice sunny weather. It's 20.7 degrees Celsius. Like I'm honestly, when was it, yesterday? Yesterday or day before? I think it maybe even was yesterday. No, day before. I went to go do grocery shopping and my husband was like, you can't wear that because it was like these, like I did sorry, I'm digressing early. I did that purging thing through my wardrobe, so I went through everything that I didn't love. Apparently, I don't love any of my long sleeve shirts, except hoodies, and I don't love any of my sweatpants. So all my sweatpants, gone. All my long sleeve shirts, gone. Minus a couple dress shirts, like you're gonna wear that. Anyway, I put on the beaten down Lululemons or Lululemons that I love. They've been ironed, so there's like the butt is all blown out because there's like a burn mark on them. I don't care. They're comfortable and I love them still. They're really loose. They're not like cute pants. They're like functional pants. Wore those, and I was like, don't worry. So I put on my cardigan, I put a sweater on, I put a tank, I put a sweater, I put this over top, which you all probably know, it goes down past my knees on the back. So, and I was like going around, and even people in the stores were like, it's cold, and I'm like, I know. Like if I had more crochet to wear, I could have just literally taken blankets with me. So I am looking forward to having this done. And it's not even cold weather yet, it's gonna get cold. And cold, I mean like a few degrees colder than this, maybe like 17 or 18, which is gonna be really cold. So couldn't work on that because I needed to film it. So might have started another whip, perhaps. Make sure I got a stitch marker. Dee, dee, dee. Who doesn't love it? I love it. So it was starting to work on this. And how I did that, I first made, is my small one in here? Yeah. I think I showed you this last week. Oh, I made this one, which obviously you can't really count the squares. It's a bit like super tedious. So made a JPEG, made a Google Doc, blah, blah, blah. Printed it out on 2 pages, and then also put like a ruler mark every couple, I should have done it every 2 rows in a different color. So in your head, you're like, okay, I'm doing the blue row, and then you're like, okay, I'm doing the row above the blue row, because it got very confusing as to what row you're on, especially when you're making the letters and they don't really make sense to you. It's just like weirdness. Then was reading my comments yesterday, and a lovely viewer who I am forever indebted to showed me or told me about this other website called stitchboard.com, where if you have to become a member, so you sign up, give them your email address. Basically it's free, but you do have to give them your email and then log in. And it's a bit of a confusing website, like where you sign in and all that. Like everything's really tiny. It's not a very modern website. Don't care. Just like, take your time figuring it out. So you upload your photo, same, and you decide if you want to do fillet crochet, regular crochet, cross stitch, or something else. And then you can pick how many colors you want, and you pick how many stitches across you're going to do. And I did 128 for this, so that my letters would be 2 stitches wide. So I put in the same calculations into this website, and it comes up with a PDF. And the graph is split into different parts depending how big your work is going to be. So that's like the first page, second page, and you can see it's like really clear what you're supposed to do with that stitch, like if it's what color it's supposed to be. And I just picked 2 colors, so it wasn't going to give me a bunch of gradients. It was like it's either going to be white or it's going to be red, and the program decided. Where with this one, you can see some of those letters, like they're gray, they're in between. So I had to like jiffy marker around this one, where this website, you don't have to, but there is some skinny spots. Like the U is only 1 stitch, and the S is only 1 row. But how clear is that? You don't have to think about it. This is what your picture is supposed to look like. So imagine if you weren't doing letters, like if you're doing an actual picture, it would be awesome. So mine is split up into 4 pages. Great, thank you. Didn't use it because I was already finish my words when I read about it, but thank you so much, so much. And then also, on the website, once you're a member, you also get to do you can decide if you want the graph or you want the written pattern. What? What? Written pattern for the chart. Can you believe it? So it tells you what to do for whatever colors you have. So like say it's row 16, it's like red 9, white 23, red 11, white 6, red 5, white 4. So you just go along doing that, and then I would just be ticking it off with like, I just cross it out with like a pencil when you went past that, when you finished that section. You'd always know where you were and you wouldn't have to worry about it and count back and try to figure out what letter you're doing, and free. There's also a thing at the bottom of the screen, haven't figured it out yet, but also you can put in your trademark and your website, like you can make this your own pattern. What? Yeah, free. So excited about that. Like I honestly want to do some sort of graph chart thing now because of the written instructions are so great. And the pattern is so clear, like the chart is so clear. And look even how the play button is. Like I just did mine like a total box. I didn't know that my corners were supposed to be done like, I didn't do that. I just did a whole rectangle. Straight up. Which I mean, I'm into it. I don't think it's wrong, but I think it's very interesting. That program is very interesting. So on this one, anyway, working on it, I just did back and forth rows and then just carried my yarn along the back because it's going to be a pillow. So I don't care what the back looks like. So the back is a hot mess. And I did put 3 extra rows on the bottom, and I'm going to put 3 extra rows on the top, just so when it is like a pillow, it's still going to be the right proportion. And then I think it's going to fit like up there on one of those shelves. Huh? How cute. Ooh, tangled. Uh-oh. This is like a cat in a ball of yarn. All right, so I'm working on this. I was gonna just keep going with it and then fold it over in half and stitch it and stitch it to make a pillow. But I think I'm gonna do the front piece and finish the front piece and then make a separate piece for the back, just so it keeps a better shape, like a better pillow shape, because I think it's gonna be so, I just don't want it to be like round in the middle, like curled over. I want it to be crisp along the top. So I think I'm gonna do 2 separate pieces. Anyway, yay. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It was actually kind of fun because it was like a bit of thinking. I did rip it out a little bit and then realized that I did it right anyway. And then was able, on one of my S's, I think it was this one, I did an extra stitch here. So it was a bit too square. So I'd already frogged it. I was like, well, I guess I'll just fix that S that I wasn't going to fix. So I fixed the S. Anyway, I'm pretty much loving it. So thank you, Jared, for the great idea and the inspiration. I'm loving it. It was actually really fun to do. That whip basket? Yeah. Oh, I was gonna use this yarn, textured yarn, because I thought that looked super great, but then I said no, because you can't see your stitches, and then how are you even gonna count your stitches if you can't bloody well see them? So scrap that and just went for the plain acrylic with white, what's left of it, white chenille for the white bits. So it's a bit textured. Not sure if you could see. Anyway, that's a whip. And what I like about that one, super mindless. What are you doing? Single crochet. What are you doing at the end of the row? Chain 1, turn, first stitch all the way back. Can watch TV. Love it. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Don't have to think. And don't have to film it either, because who else wants a subscribe pillow? Probably only me. Or people who can make it themselves. With these great websites, which I'm loving. So that is those are both my whips. Let me check my notes. Don't want to forget a whip. Yep, that was it. So the website stitchboard.org. I'll put a link in the description box below. If I forget, please remind me in the comments. Future objects, next on the list. Let me put that out of the way. This over here. Future objects is for our crochet along for June. There is a gorgeous shawl, which the Facebook group has suggested, which is literally gorgeous. I just feel like I don't have enough time to be prepared to teach you how to do it this soon, to be honest with you. Like, I don't have enough time because I have to finish this cardigan and the cal and the borders and all the things I want to do for this month's cal, and I don't have enough time to work ahead on a garment for next month, truth be told. So, still want to do it. Just because we're not doing it does not mean we're not going to do it. I think we're going to do that like for September or October, something like that, when I have time to prepare for it, because I want to get everything ready and not be behind. So I hope you understand. So for the next month's cal, we are going to be doing a granny square tote bag with a fabric lining, whatever size you want to do. Just a little tip for you guys who's going to be doing it with me. I started by getting my fabric, and some of you probably know that I used to do a lot of sewing, and I do have 3 closets full of fabric. And I mean full of fabric, I mean stacked like sardines all the way up to the clothing rack, and then open the next one, same. Like, I have an entire bedroom closet system full of fabric. So I went to my African fabrics, because I wanted it to be African lining, and this is actually Ugandan fabric because it's nicer than the Kenyan fabric. It's waxed. So pick this one. I wanted one with good colors in it. This is going to be the lining for the bag. So, and it's going to be an easy lining. You can either just hand sew it. You probably don't want to staple it. I've stapled in the past. I've hemmed my curtains with staples. That's a good tip, actually. But anyway, not talking about cheating. We're going to stitch a lining. So if you have a sewing machine, great. If you don't worry about it. It's literally going to be easy enough, just not that hard, honestly. So I picked colors that go with it, or, you know, I had it totally lined up, but it was a bit drab. It was a bit like not happy enough. So I threw in this awesome coral and went with more of the pinks and less of the boring colors to perk that up. So these are going to be granny squares, which I'll be showing you how to do, and we'll be doing next month. So whatever fabric you have, you probably don't need that much, less than a meter if you're going to go buy. I don't know if a fat quarter would be enough, but it probably would be if you made your bag the same size as the fat quarter. You know what I mean? So if you're doing it that way, whatever, however you buy your fabric. These are 6-yard pieces. That's how I buy my fabric, because I'm lucky like that. These are about $12, I think, for the 6 yards, sorry. Anyway, in a super dodgy part of town. Like, you cannot park your car, you cannot leave your car unattended, you cannot stand on the street. You will not be going there. I will not be taking you there, but I do go with my driver first thing in the morning, and yeah, he drops me off and I run upstairs into, it's super dodgy, run, and you go into this room. Sorry, I'm digressing. You go up a dinky, the whole building is old and it is painted orange. So it's an orange building with a staircase. All you see is a staircase. So you're like, okay, you go up the staircase and there's like 3 rooms at the top of the stairs that probably you would bedrooms back in the day. Who even knows? One of the bedrooms has fabric stacked along all sides of the room. So all 3 sides of the room have fabric stacked up on kind of like benches, so they're a bit off the ground. And then behind each stack, there's a person standing there, and that is their stack of yarn. I mean, a stack of fabric. So they're all folded up like this. and then like on top of each other, probably for like 1.5 meters. Each stack is about 1 meter, 1.5 meters. So the person will be like leaning over and helping you like pick through the fabrics to see which one. And then like they're really heavy, obviously that much fabric. And then they'll lift them up, and then you make a stack, and then you pay all together, like whatever you're getting, because each stack is a different vendor. And you pay for your fabric, and then they divvy up the money after. You don't have to buy from this guy and that guy. You just make your stack of cool fabrics, and you never know what colors you want. I'll go there thinking I want like blues and browns, and they won't have any blues and browns. It's not really, really ugly. And then I'll come out with like, they'll have like a whole bunch of like purple and reds or some other crazy combination. So it's pretty random what they have, but amazing. I don't think the sticker's on this one anymore. I've made book covers with this, all sorts of stuff. So it's not 6 meters anymore. But I've made dresses out of these. Really cool. Anyway. That's the fabric store. No, you're not going there, but how great is that fabric? So for your lining, just like a cotton or something like that. If you are not a sewer, even a fleece lining, although it'll stretch a little bit, you can also use that because you don't have to do anything with fleece. Okay, so that is future objects. Excited about it. Finishing the cardigan first because it's Cal month. Also editing today this border, which I forgot. Thank goodness I filmed it when I did it, but the problem is I filmed it like it was a year ago or something like that. So it's not really up to my, like I feel I would have done a better tutorial now. I was like talking too much and, you know, being too slow, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Thankfully, I was able to like edit it down. Even how I was doing it, I was so worried because, you know, how I do the border for the corner to corner, but I wasn't even doing it that way. I was like shoving all the stitches into one square. I was like, oh no, I can't even use this footage. And then thankfully in like the next clip or the clip after, I ripped it all out and started again. So I was like, oh, anyway, it's ready. I just have to finish editing it, so it should be up tomorrow. So I guess that's kind of a future object for you. But super cozy blanket, and I'm loving it. Now, shout outs. So I have a new viewer from Canada. Love my fellow Canadians. She has a YouTube channel. She does, what do you call it, floss tube? But she also does a little bit of crochet. So her channel, her name's Jen so hi Jen. Thank you very much for joining our community. And her podcast is called Jen's Crafty World. I'll put a link in the description box below. And I also want to say hello and thank you so much to Christina from Christina's Creations, also a podcaster. She has taken us on trips to a whole bunch of different places where she can buy yarn in her community this past week, which I loved. You know, me and shopping overseas, I never get to do it. So I totally loved all of her. I really appreciate her taking me out and about with her. It was like super great. So check out her channel. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, which obviously you are because you're still here with me, so go check her out. She's just starting out and obviously could use some more subscribers. So feel free to subscribe and go yarn shopping with her. So thanks, Christina, for doing that. I loved it. I think you put up a couple more yesterday. I still have to watch them. I'm so excited. So now we're on to questions and answers. If you have questions you would like to know about me or living in Kenya or anything about crochet, leave it in the comments box below of this podcast, and I will answer them in the next podcast. So, first question is about homes. And the question is, are most homes gated? Yes, they are. We call them compounds, and everything has a compound. So, yeah, everything is fenced, and you have a gate. So your dogs can be all around your compound. Like in my community, houses are on half-acre plots. So you have a half acre with your house and whatever you want, and that's it. Your neighbors are on the other side of the fence. Next question is, what do I miss about Canada or from Canada? Bix Pickles, number one. I would say maple syrup, but I've hoarded a good stash, so I'm okay there. Although I do have half of my kids thinking that, oh, I did for so long that this fake syrup was good. And I was like, sure, like as much fake syrup as you want, because I was hoarding the maple syrup, but now they like maple syrup. Like they figured out my trick. I'm like, oh. Anyway, still have maple syrup. I miss Dutch pannenkoek, like the pancake, like breakfast restaurants, especially Dutch pannenkoek, to be honest with you. I miss fruit in the summers, like, you know, I miss cherries. Cherries here are like, I'm probably gonna get it wrong. I'm trying to calculate. Like $40 a pound. It's like $1 a cherry. It's so expensive, and it's not on my list of things. Like I don't miss them that much. I actually miss the cherries from Greece, to be honest. The queen cherries, I think. Oh, stone cherries. I don't know, those ones I miss the most. But that's not from Canada. But oh, cherries. I miss cherries, let's say that. And I miss Vic's pickles. Yep. A very good question about schools. In our last podcast together, we had questions about schools, and one thing popped into mind is how girls here can't go to school on the days they have their periods because they don't have any way of staying, well, I don't want to say clean, but like, you know, unmessy, you know what I mean? So I looked and found a company, an organization called ZanaAfrica.org, and they go around and educate the girls on what's happening with their bodies and how to look after themselves, and the reason why you probably shouldn't have, or you should try not to have, unprotected sex. So that is a really good outreach program. It's also a registered 501c3, meaning you can get a tax-deductible receipt if you are in Canada or the US. So that's a really good thing. You can check it out. I'll put a link in the description box below and see what you think about it. And also at the end of the video, we went shopping together and priced out sanitary pads. So that's just a kind of a thing you can keep in the back of your mind when you check these people out and see how they're helping. What I do like about them is it's not, I found other ones, but they were kind of really close to Nairobi, which I don't really think is the biggest need. I think it's more needed like up country and farther away where the girls, there's not as many opportunities. So some of the cost, I'm sure, would be that outreach, that getting that farther away. So I appreciate that, and I would check into the locations of where they're helping out, which I like that. I like them a lot. So check it out. Plus their website's really cute. It's pretty. So that is that one. And then next question, my children, are they all adopted, and at what age did I adopt them? I have 4 children, though my oldest is biological, and my other 3 are adopted. I adopted 2 of them when they were babies and 1 when they were slightly older, about 3 years old, which I'm super happy about and would totally recommend to anybody. It is like, they're the love of my lives. Loves of my life, not the other way around. I'm not a cat. Next question. For the trip, for people coming to join us on our crochet vacay, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, I got to get better at that. What are the vaccination requirements? So let me just talk about the crochet vacay, which is happening in February of 2019. So there's still time to get yourself arranged, get your passport sorted out and everything. We are planning a 12-day trip around Kenya. 4 days on safari, 4 days in Nairobi, and 4 days on the beach, Indian Ocean. We're also planning on hoping to have Holly from the Proper Pineapple come and do a doll making masterclass at the beginning and a masterclass also at the end. So start the doll making and then have 2 weeks to work on it and then finish up on the last day. So that would be a 14-day trip, depending how we work it out. Anyway, so that would be super exciting. Can't wait for that. So what do you need to come to Kenya? What are the vaccination requirements? Blah, 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 blah. Googled that also. And even printed it out. So the recommended these are recommended, so you don't have to get them, they're recommended, but go to your travel clinic. There's a travel clinic nearby, and this is from passporthealthusa.com. So this is an American travel website. So they suggest getting typhoid, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, cholera, yellow fever, rabies, meningitis, and the flu shot. Okay, well, the flu shot is obviously, that's up to you. What I would do is malaria. I wouldn't do the malaria vaccinations, but I do the malaria, or not vaccinations, medication. I do a bug repellent when you are below 2,500 feet. Nairobi is at close to 6,000 feet, 5,000 something, blah, 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 blah. So the chances of getting malaria here, like literally a mosquito has to get in an airplane from sea level or below 2,500 feet and then get to Nairobi and then fly around and then bite you. And the mosquito has to have malaria. So 1 in 6 mosquitoes have malaria lower than 2,500 feet. So if you're on the coast, 1 in 6 mosquitoes has malaria. Here, I don't know if it's like 1 in like how many billions, but I mean, technically it's not impossible. But it's a very lucky mosquito who would have gotten this far and bitten you. But malaria would be what you would want to educate yourself about. At least use bug spray. And hepatitis is always a good thing to have. But check your travel clinic. They'll tell you what you need to do. Oh, where's my questions? Oh, this side. Let me see. Driving. How long did it take for me to learn to drive on the wrong side of the road? We drive on the, is it the left side? I don't tell myself right or left because I get all confused, because once it's the side of the road and then where's the steering wheel? Right? Like, I drive on the left side of the road, but my steering wheel's on the right side of the car. So I can't manage thinking about that. So I just do driver in the middle, and driver's always in the middle. And it took about probably 3 months, I guess, 6 months. But it took about a decade, because you know when you shoulder check, you know you're backing up, so you're like do. I'm supposed to turn my neck this way to look, because my steering wheel's here and my passenger is there. I'm supposed to turn this way and do my backing up. So hard. So it took about a decade to be able to do that, because what you want to do, even with your passenger sitting here, is you want to just really turn your neck the way you're comfortable and back up that way. So that took longer. I think even today I was backing up the grocery store and I was late. I did it the right way. I did it this way. I was all proud. Anyway, like as a reflex. And the next question is about, or questions that are about crochet. So charts, is there one standard chart for crochet stitches for all around the world? Yes, there is. I will put a picture here while I look at my printout. So you can see the stitches that they have, like the top one, the little oval on the side is a chain stitch, and it's a chain stitch in both in British terminology and in US. So this chart has all of the stitches, what they're called in British and in US, and that is global. So those stitches mean the same thing, it just depends on what the words mean. So I'll put a link to this in the description box below. It is from dabblesandbabbles.com. I think it's the best, well, it's definitely the prettiest chart out there, so it's the chart I like to use. Because we're all about what looks good. Summer projects. Are we going to be doing summer projects? Because I know I've told you I'm going to be spending the summer with my kids. And I did a poll here on our community tab. I also did one on our Facebook group. And shockingly, it came back, people love tutorials, which would make sense, right? It's a YouTube channel about crochet, we do tutorials. But most people, like my most popular videos are kind of still podcasts. But anyway, fascinating. Thank you so much for everybody who had an opinion and shared it with me. Thank you so much. So we're going to be doing podcasts and tutorials. Those are pretty much neck and neck on Facebook, I think. And I think on the YouTube channel, tutorials has like slam dunked everything. So we're still going to be doing tutorials. And what I was thinking of doing for our summer projects is related to our next question, which is one of our viewers is thinking about having a craft fair. So she's wondering what she can make that it's going to be in the fall, but she's wondering what she could make and if she could make enough to make it worth it. Like if her booth is going to be full enough for her to have her own table at a craft fair this fall. So what I was thinking of doing over the summer is for tutorials is quick little gift, like either gift items or things you can sell at a craft fair. So like small little things, little projects like the soap bag, which I just saw over there, but little cute things you can make that you could also make to sell or make to gift. So we'll start gearing up gifty wise for either selling, if that's what you're doing, what you're into, or gifts for Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate, your winter holidays. So, or Diwali. So I gotta find it. I made this amazing, Kavit's made one too. Maybe we'll bring them if I find them for the live chat. Chilies, it was for Diwali. So chili peppers hanging on like crocheted chili peppers on a string. You put them over your door for good luck for the new year or to keep bad spirits away or something, but it's like a door, like a bunting for your door, front door. So things like that we can make for the upcoming holidays. I thought that'd be really fun to do and short and quick, and I can manage that over the summer because it's just like a little bit of crocheting and a little bit of filming and a little bit of editing. Not like crazy, massive, blanket projects. What was I thinking again? Anyway, oh, this is so cozy. I shouldn't lift it up. This is a keeper. I'm excited about my jacket. So, question of the day, what do you think would sell at a craft fair? What small projects would you like to make and give as gifts? And please leave those in the comments box below. Also, other question, how many whips do you have at a time? Like, what do you feel good about with your whips? Why I'm asking, comment on our Facebook group, which I love, and thanks everybody who is contributing over there and keeping that rolling. I totally appreciate you, and it's great seeing what you're working on. Link in the description box also if you want to join that group if you haven't already. Is one of our viewers went to an estate sale, and it was the closets and closets of yarn, but apparently almost all the yarn was tucked into project bags and partially used. So the lady had just spent a long time starting projects and not finishing them. So I want to call her my friend. I'm like, oh, my friend, but one of you, whoever went to the sale, has made a resolution to not have that many whips. So what is your whip count? Like, how many whips do you need to have and how many do you want to have? Like, what's your whip, what's your golden zone for whips? I need more than one whip because I need a whip that I'm filming to share with you guys, but it's also great. I also need a whip that I'm just working on. I don't have to be like, oh, I have to stop now because I got to go film it, or I can't use the yarn I want to use because you can't see the stitches. Like I want a project that is just super mindless and easy for me to do, like literally to just de-stress. I also want to be working on something that I'm sharing with you. So I am I'm a 2 whip minimum. Like I need 2 whips. And then it depends about my lifestyle. If I'm going out and about, like if I have a lot of going around to do, then I need something portable that I can keep with me in the car or take with me where I'm going, where I'm waiting. So I need a portable whip. Like you can't take a blanket. Like if I'm working on a blanket, that does not count as a whip that I can take with me. So then I would also need a smaller whip if I'm leaving the house at that time. So I'm a 2 to 3 whip at a time. I still have my lion head sitting over there. I'm going to be working on that at least this summer when I get caught up on my corner to corner and the bag. See, I'm overcommitted, right? I'm already ahead of myself. So I need to get caught up on this, calm down on the cals, so there won't be a cal for July and August, unless we come up with like something you just work on your own, which we could totally do also, I guess, or just take the summer off. And I'll also be doing my lion head. So I have 3 whips right now. 1, 2, 3? Yep, I have 3, which is pretty good. I'm not calling the lion a UFO, but it's getting close to that, isn't it? So I think that is all of our questions. Now I would just like to thank everybody who's introduced themselves this week. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. It is wonderful because I feel like I know who I'm talking to, and that means the world to me. Because when I started this podcast, I think if anybody starts a podcast, you feel very awkward. Like you don't know who you're talking to, you don't know what they're thinking in their head, like you're not connected. And I feel really connected to you guys now because of how many people have introduced themselves. And this past week, we've done so well, or you have done so well with introducing yourselves. I have divided it up into states. So, just to try to make it a bit more, plus you'll also kind of be like, oh, there's someone else in California or someone else in Colorado. So that's what we're doing this week. And I would just like to thank, from California, Thomasina, Karen, and Kendall. And from South Carolina, Renee and Linda. And this is in no particular order. I just kind of started writing it down on a piece of paper. Recycling. From North Carolina, Jean and Heather. From Kentucky, Tenna. From Georgia, Maria and Angela. Washington State, Deb and Dawn. Thank you so much. From Colorado, Linda, Kurt, and Sheila. From Pennsylvania, Cheryl, April, and Mary. Mary, love her. You're going to love her too. She drives an 82-passenger school bus, and she brings her crochet, and she crochets while she waits for the school kids to get out of school and hop in her bus. Isn't that cool? I'd love to be able to drive an 82-passenger bus. My husband probably wouldn't. He'd be like, oh, now she's going to go get more kids. I won't. 4 is a great number. From Texas, Lucy Kate and Sabrina. Thank you so much. From Tennessee, Sonia. Ohio, Brenda. Arkansas, thank you, Evelyn. New York, Callie. Illinois, Bobby and Karen. Thank you so much. Michigan, Linda, Dawn, and Sabrina. And from Massachusetts, Thea. Thank you, Thea. Nice to get to know you finally. And then from out of the United States of America, from Canada, Paula from New Brunswick, Eve from Ontario, and Helen from Vancouver Island. Thank you so much. And globally, we have Caitlin from Australia, Sarah from Algeria, and Mary from Ireland. So thank you so much for introducing yourselves. It means the world to me. For those of you who don't know, we have a live chat on Friday. You can, on the home channel page of The Secret Yarnery here on YouTube, you can click on the top video there so you get a notification of when we go live with that. It is at 1400 GMT on Friday, which is General Mountain Time, Greenwich Mean Time, isn't it? God, that's so wrong. So that's 1400 GMT. If you want to Google that, as what time that is going to be in your home. And we also have it on our website. There's a timer at the bottom, a countdown, although I have to update it, which I'll do before I upload this. I hope I remember. That's another thing I got to get better at. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, invite your friends to come over and join us. We'd love to have them join our community. The links are in the description box below for our Facebook and how to contact me. Also my favorite bits and pieces if you're doing any shopping and all that. Links down below. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Stay hooked. We did like a heavy rainstorm for like, my husband said he hasn't ever seen it rain like that. But this is like, it's supposed to be like a ditch. It's all flooded. There's like a lake in my back field. It is nuts. And I need coffee filters, so off we go. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Oopsies. Probably can turn those off a bit. So there's probably going to be rush hour traffic also. Yay. Look at this water. Oh my gosh, it's a river over there. You see that? A river. Here's a river too. Nuts. Can you imagine? So it had heavy rain probably from like 2 in the morning until like 6:30. And then all of a sudden there's birds chirping. Anyway, crazy rain. So this is the dawn of rush hour traffic. It's not even too bad. Usually it's already backed up. So I guess we're lucky. 1-1, dude. Oh, maybe they didn't get too much rain here. Usually this is super flooded here. Also, see that little puddle on the left? And then there is a big creek. Well, no, there's a big ditch and a creek on this side. I'll try to show you. So that gets super full also. And this is rush hour traffic. So this is traffic going to, well, anywhere really, but pretty much it's called UN Avenue. So the United Nations is on this road. And the US Embassy, Brazilian Embassy is just off this road. Actually, traffic's really good. I thought I might have to detour and take you to my empty grocery store. But I guess not. We're lucky. I'm going to take you to a new one. We're going to go see if Kavita has taken all of the paydays or if they had another box hidden somewhere. Let us see. So this is traffic. That's a really good Pan-Asian Yao, it's called. Well, we just call it Yao. Really good. I guess it's Asian food, obviously. Fancy sushi, like not the regular kind. They make it like fancy, but it's still really good. And actually, the food in there is really delicious. They have like a broccoli wok thing. It's so good. New hotel coming up on that side. That fancy new building with netting still on it. So we finally get to sit, but really close, like only 1 block of traffic, so that's not bad. So I just thought I'd show you what it's like to sit in traffic. All right, so this is Lemuru Road again, and at the bottom of this hill in the little ditch down there, oops, is the entrance to Carrero Forest, where the restaurant is the River Cafe, which I really like. Let me go that way. Probably better filming for you. So there is the entrance to Carrero Forest on that side. So impressed with traffic today. So now we're getting into Mathaga area, which is up to the left. That's where the nice, well, the expensive houses, some of them are boxes, but they're expensive. I forget which podcast, a couple podcasts ago, we looked at a couple houses in there, or one house in there actually. So that is up here on the left. But we're going to our new grocery store. Okay, motorbike. Okay. Flower vendor. He's expensive. Huh. I don't know. I guess we're in the neighborhood, right? Generally, each one of those bunches is $2. But he wants like $6 or something. Like, his prices are crazy. Okay, what are you doing, dude? Being annoying. Obviously. I think we can park on this other side. Petrol station, price of gas. Uh-oh. Okay, thank you. So these parking guys, they're so nice. There's like 3 of them in the parking lot, and they just kind of tell you where you can park, or if there's a spot where you can wait for somebody to leave. This place used to be so busy. You'd have to come first thing in the morning, and then just to get parking. It was so frustrating. But I don't know what's up now. We've got the best grocery store, and you can still park. But I think everybody is staying home because of the rain. Okay. Out we go. Now let me position you. Post office. The reason we came, coffee filters. Hard to find. Also could use some jam. Tea. Cereal. Dead shopping cart. That's the only place you can buy plastic bags. What are these? Examination gloves. Nope, they don't have any. Since the plastics ban. Tissues. Foils. Okay, let's just price this out. It's inappropriate, but 16s, I don't get it. Oh, so 16 pads is $1.40. The cheap ones. $14 for $1.50. Okay, good to know. Milk delivery. Okay. How are you? Good, thank you. I do. 0726. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will. I forgot my shopping bags again. Oh, what do we have here? Max's. So 7 for 85 cents. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Post office. I have to find the key for my box. What's new, right? What's new? So coffee filters are bloody hard to find. Well, they used to be impossible. That was something you'd have to get on Amazon, but now you can find them at these cute little shops. Security notice. Anyway. So this place is called On the Way. Little Kavitz. She left like 10 chocolate bars there. So hilarious. You know what's hard about driving? Tell you that. Backing up with your neck turned to the center of the car, because you always want to back up with with your neck like the way you learn to drive. It's so awkward. That's I've probably been able to do that in the last like 3-4 years. So probably like a good 15 years of not like just still turning your. Like I turn my neck to the right to shoulder check or like to back up. It's crazy. Anyway, I got coffee filters. So excited. Now, down the hill. Oops, bike, get out of the way. So Australian embassy's down here, but they're moving. That's Australian. They don't have a sign saying no photography, by the way. Can't see it anyway. But they're building a new one right by Runda. And they just moved it into this one. They just built this one maybe like, I guess it's a while. 6 years ago? So pretty down here. Oh, and I think Belgium embassy's up here on the left. They also don't have a sign. They're across from Carrero Forest. Yeah, Embassy of Belgium. Carrero Forest on the right. now we're back in traffic. Almost. Plant nurseries, where you buy plants. All down there, all the way down. So if you stop, they will walk you like all the way into like way down in there. There's probably like a creek at the bottom where they get their water, then they bucket it up and water their plants. More on this side also. And then the forest is actually fenced in there. They've got a proper fence. And we're following a lorry. But isn't that so pretty and green? Love it. You can see what you can see down there. Not too much anymore. Plants. So they're just planted in plastic bags. I'm sure you can see that. See, this lady's working there. She's got new baby ones she's restocking her rows. Yeah. Okay, cow, take your time. Decide where you want to go. You're good. Okay. How was that? And what's happening here?